here for Run Route Recon KC again, and it is January in Kansas City, which means ridiculously cold temps and hopefully ridiculously hot coffee and hot cocoa. What a better way to celebrate this bittersweet rivalry than to run a 5K. That's right, we are talking about the Battle of the Bean 5K, once again brought to you by KC Running Company. Before we get started, the disclaimers. Once again, this preview is for the 2023 route, though final course details are subject to change by the race organization. For official final details on and around race weekend, including the official course map, packet pickup, and race start times, please visit the race website, which will be linked in the video description. Also, while you're here, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And while you're at it, feel free to pop by our Instagram and Twitter accounts, both at Run Route Recon KC, as well as our website, runroutereconkc.com. Now we're going to try something a little bit new for this race and going forward for all course previews. We're going to separate these videos into 4 different sections. First of all, we're going to talk about the race details themselves. This might include how many participants generally join the race every year, the location of the start and finish line, and maybe some parking, as well as the charity partners. Then we'll talk about the course details such as elevation gain, terrain, and features along the route. Then we'll have the video preview itself along with commentary throughout. And finally, I'll be giving a rating of the course itself as well as the race and give you some idea of whether or not you want to register or maybe pass on this race. With all that said, let's get to the course. I actually remember when this race was first launched several years ago. Despite the fact that it is a January race and it is typically very, very cold, it's been quite a popular event right from the first starting gun. It used to be held in Leawood back when Foo's fabulous frozen custard sponsored the race, but has since moved to the Missouri side. This year's race benefits Wonderscope Children's Museum, which is literally located just meters from the start-finish line. They used to have Chris Elbow chocolates at the start-finish line, along with, of course, hot cocoa and roastery coffee. In the last few years, I haven't really seen the Chris Elbow chocolates, but the coffee and the cocoa still around. The 5K course has about 140 feet of elevation gain, so not a flat route by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't have any major climbs, but it does have a few spots that if you're like racing the 5K or you're shooting for a PR on the day of the Battle of the Bean, it's going to put some sting into the leg. So we'll kind of talk about those when we get to those in the video. This course is primary blacktop and mostly run in the neighborhoods west of Warrenall and south of Red Bridge Road. This means that it features mostly houses along the entire route, though as previously mentioned, it also does run by the race's charity partner, Wonderscope. Once again, we're including course and elevation profile in this video along with percent grade. Live distance, once again, for the second race in a row, is not included because I took a few wrong turns on the route, so the live distance won't be accurate. However, each mile will be included in the video itself. Now let's get on to the starting line. Now the start lane will definitely be set up here in this parking lot. I'm not sure quite how far up. It is between the Sunfresh, and if you're familiar with where the Mid-Continent Public Library here is on Holmes, just east of Wonderscope, which is one of the sponsors and the beneficiaries of this event. One of the first things that you notice about this course is the profile. From the start line through Warrenall for about the first half mile is an increase in altitude of about 50 feet at an average 2% grade. Now, of course, that means the upside to all this is the last half mile of the race is going to be a pretty rapid finish as you're going to be downhill the last half mile. Now you'll notice up to now the course has been relatively straightforward. This is where things start to actually get a little bit more technical as far as the turns are concerned. And as we come around these technical corners, we're going to be hitting some hills as well, which at 1.5 miles into the race at this point is going to be a little bit painful. Other than the opening half mile or so, we are coming up now on the only real increase in altitude on the route. This is about 1/3 mile, comprised of about 3 different roads: Jefferson Street, which we're coming off of, onto Pennsylvania Avenue, and then eventually 106th Street. About 1/3 mile at 3% and 60 feet in elevation gain. Apologies on the map in the lower right hand corner of the video. This is one of the places where I took a wrong turn. So you see a little bit of what looks like an extra out and back section. Just ignore that. Final half mile here en route. Once you get past Wornall onto East 112th Street, it is downhill about 40 feet all the way to the finish. Now, if you like neighborhood running routes, as you saw in the video, that's pretty much the entire course. I personally like neighborhood running routes, especially for the shorter runs. I feel like it's easier to focus. If you're, say, racing a 5K, there's less traffic and there's less noise. Now, if it's a longer distance run, such as a half marathon or a full marathon, that's typically when I look for races that have landmarks along the route, which is why I like the KC Marathon and half routes so much. This race historically has some nice amenities as well. Of course, free hot chocolate and coffee is always a benefit. So that boosts the race stock in my book. KC Running Company always takes really good care of their runners. Just keep in mind that this is in the middle of January in the Midwest, which means that weather can vary wildly. Now, for this race in particular, I don't think I've run it once where it was an absolutely freezing cold. Even with the Sweetheart Run just a month away, it has typically been a little bit warmer for me. So just keep that in mind. You could not only suffer from cold temperatures out here on the Battle of the Bean 5K run route, but you could also deal with some snow, maybe even some freezing rain. That has happened in the past. And that's it. Now it's time to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts, and maybe if you've run this race course before and want to kind of give your thoughts on it as well, please leave those in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the starting line.